Good morning, guys. Alphabet commences 7-part US dollar bond sale, seeking to raise about 15 billion. Alphabet didn't immediately reply to a request for comment from MT News. So they're selling US bonds. Okay. If I shorted dude, I had a 611 app short and I took a red trade on that. So that kind of sucked. If you shorted 550, so I'm assuming you shorted on Friday the 30th, I would have covered some into this weakness already. And at this point, my stop would probably be this 10-day for now, because I wouldn't be comfortable watching this thing go all the way back up to the 20. But I would have covered some into this weakness. I had a short here. Man, that sucks. What a huge fade. 40%. My thoughts on VRT. So VRT is interesting. Nice base being built here, but I personally can't buy it with earnings this close. Right? They have earnings this Wednesday. Nice job on the move up. Nice job, building out a nice new base. It's been going sideways for a handful of months. I think it actually looks great, but can't really get in the way of getting positioned. And then we've got earnings on deck in just a few days. Right? That looks a little bit on the sketchy side. And then VNet, let me take a look at VNet really quickly. Yeah, VNet. Big base being built here. Continues to build higher lows. I mean, I don't know how much this trade, 65 million bucks. I mean, for most people that should be all right. I think VNet looks pretty decent. It'd be good to keep an eye on these Chinese equities and see what they choose to do. Enphase as a high volume close, yeah. And make sure I keep this one on watch too. Yeah, we'll see what Enphase does. Finally back above the 200 with some super, super massive volume. GMed might need to take a small loss. Where do you own GMed from? I would have probably exited this thing when we lost the 50-day. Right there. What did I trade on Friday? I got out of my STX short. I closed my AVGO short. Anything else? I bought IGV. So just as a washout long. Definitely not a setup for everybody, but I own it. It won't be like a something that turns into a long-term swing. Just a trade back into like the 10 and the 20. Yeah, I didn't make a recap on Friday. I had flown out to Miami. So I was on a small little vacation. If I were trading a 20K account, would you still stick to 20% positions? Yeah, I would say 20% would be like the max usually in most scenarios. And even 10% positions. And 5% is good if you're not trading well. Because look, here's the rule, Ivan. You could take 10% positions. You could take 20% positions. But doing that on a follow through day, following a market correction, much easier to get involved than when the market's this choppy. When the market's this choppy and you're literally can't gain traction on very little, then you can't go 20% positions, right? Or you're buying undercuts and you're selling most into supply. That's what you have to do. But if you can't gain traction with a $2,000 position, then you should cut it to 1,000. If you can't gain traction with $1,000 positions, you just cut it to 500. I think like people have it burnt in their brain, and I'm not saying necessarily you, where they think that you need to get all your money involved super quickly. No, what you need to do is, and this is the reason why, if the environment sucks, the difference between you and somebody else might be they're chopping themselves up to pieces, you're sizing down when the market's not friendly. So you don't have nearly as much money to make back when the market gets a whole lot easier, because everybody makes money in a very easy environment. So, if you can't gain traction with 20K count on a 2K position, go to 1K. If that doesn't work, go to 500. If that doesn't work, literally keep sizing down. Why? Because you're going to keep taking trades. But if the market's not giving you follow through, that's feedback. And either that's feedback for you to just stop trading for the time being, change your entry tactics, focus on better groups. And all the while you're looking for traction, you should be trading smaller size, because in a great environment, you're going to get involved. It's going to be easy. You're going to take another position. It'll pay you, and another one, it'll pay you, and another one, it'll pay you. And then now all of a sudden, that's the cue to start, ramping up exposure. And you're already doing so naturally by just there being more positions to trade. This AON, the right-hand side of this is pretty clean. I don't know. Not bad. Intel. Yeah, Intel. I don't really see the best spot for me to buy this thing at the moment. It's been holding up really well, tons of relative strength. I just don't see the spot. That's the problem. Like, where do I buy this? Do I just look for a pullback against the 20? Seems to be the way. Any names that are in stage 3 that I'm interested in shorting? No, I think on the software side, that trade's mostly done. I'm still short Netflix since November. And it was really since November that I should have been looking for more positions on the software side, whether it was Spotify or Microsoft or Roblox or, so many names. I think at this point, I even tried AppLovin. I was a little early to MSTR. I think the easiest shorting environment where you're going to get a big trend down has already happened. Maybe if NVIDIA turns into a stage 3 top, maybe if there's a retest on Palantir into the declining, I do think that this one could be breaking down, a little V shape right into the 10 and the 20 could be interesting. So yeah, we'll see. Just not yet, right? I do think that this could be going into stage 4, but not down here. I'm not shorting. USAR, no, this looks terrible. This looks god awful. They could go higher, but I just don't see that I want to buy this thing. USAR, CRML, MP, nah, not good enough, right? Names on our watch list was something like CCL, right? This was on my watch list on Thursday, right? RCL, VIK. Yeah, USAR, that's just not clean enough. It's just not clean enough. Alcoa's another one, right? Sienna's a little sloppy, but it's still in a pretty powerful uptrend. USAR looks like shit, but there are better setups. Here's the thing with USAR. If you told me you've got 6 or 7 other stocks already working for you, then fine, go for a USAR. But if you've got a lack of traction and you're looking to get involved in USAR, that's a little bit backwards, right? You want to make sure you go after the easier stuff first, or the names that are showing even better relative strength. Yeah, LHX. So this, I want to say this L3 Harris, this is an aerospace and defense stock, and this could keep working with like an RTX and an LMT. So keep an eye on those as well. ATRO. Yeah, I don't know if this is an aerospace and defense stock, but just based on the way that chart looks, that's what it looks like too. Let's see, ATRO, aerospace and defense. Coinkydink that these things all look identical when you're looking at like an LHX, and then you're looking at RTX and LMT, and you'd be like, oh yeah, those look pretty identical. Oh, I just realized A&D, aerospace and defense. There you go. A little slow to the uptick this morning. Yes, Solar Group is interesting. Tan's been holding up well. I personally thought you had your best entry right here. Higher low right off your 20-day. That was your best. Then, maybe here or a pullback buy. Yeah, looks good. NXT, best of the bunch in my opinion. And then Enphase coming up coming up recently. ARRY is another one that's pretty interesting. Choppy, but hanging in there. NVST. Yeah, maybe a high volume close. I don't know that this one was on my radar because of liquidity. Let's take a peek. Medical instruments, NVST. Well, not bad. Past couple of days, a bit more volume. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, maybe a high volume close setup. Yeah, I just don't see the spot. I see the relative strength in Intel. Okay, and so like you recognize relative strength. The semi group turned up in a big way on Friday. All that we can all notice. And then it just becomes a matter of, we notice the relative strength. Now, how do we get involved? Do we just buy it and then use the 20-day as our stop, 5.5% stop? Or do we wait for a little pullback into the 20? Or do we wait for the technicals to tighten up a little bit? Like, what's the next step? And for me, it's like, I see the relative strength, but I'm not just going to buy it. I'm going to wait for the technicals to tighten up just a bit. And then that's it, right? That's all I'm going to do. And if I miss it, I miss it. That's all right. Some of the gold miners still look okay. They still look okay. Sanglucci's the man. He is absolutely hysterical. He's absolutely hysterical. Super, super nice guy. Consumer discretionary, not the greatest theme. Oh, these are consumer staples. Oh, yeah, you're saying consumer discretionary is not the, yeah. I mean, in comparison, yeah, it's not the best. Like one versus the other, not the best. So consumer discretionary, not nearly as good as consumer staples. So heaviest weight in consumer discretionary, I mean, it's Amazon, right? And this makes up 20% of the ETF, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, XLY is definitely going to falter a little bit versus consumer defensive or consumer staples, really. No, I don't think I would be buying gold right now. Too much volatility, although I do like that it is, trying to hold the 20. Doesn't necessarily look like it's dying. The NDX is definitely being dragged down by software names, in particular, that most heavy weight towards the sector. It's the reason why, like, an RSP is going higher, which is equal weight, or it's the reason that like a QQQE doesn't look all, as bad, nearly as bad. But yeah, the average stock is actually going higher. What is the best market to short? The best market to short's a bear market. But you'll notice like relative weakness while the market's going up, and that's in software. And those have been the easiest to short. MU thoughts? I mean, still tons of strength. I'm still short. I don't really see anything to do with it at the moment. All right, just let it work. Lows? Oh yeah, just going to be too slow. Probably not something you want to find yourself trading if you've got like, if you've got like a $5 million account, then yeah, you could probably trade lows, right? You could easily park just 500K here, not that big a deal. But probably not something you want to really be trading. Zoom Communications, huge stage 1 base. Like it, don't love it. I like a DOCN more. Big old stage 1 base as well. And while software has been getting killed, this one's just been trending higher. CACI. Let's see what group this is in. I don't know. Infotech. Good earnings and sales. They're growing. Same group as LMT, NOC. I don't know much about this Cashly International. It looks like the problem. No problem. They're not even, they're kind of slow. Might be the only problem. A little slow. The chop's been a killer. Yeah. RCL, I would, so this morning, in the ideal scenario, you get a little bit of a morning washout, and then you get a reclaim of VWAP and then a break back through HVC. You could buy maybe the reclaim of VWAP with the stop at low of day. That's kind of my thinking. We'll see how that ends up playing out, but we'll see. These cruise liners are acting well. I couldn't tell you why. I like the idea of shorting AVGO. I just got stopped out. It's like every time I look, they're getting some kind of deal with not a deal, but they're a big beneficiary of all the CapEx spend. So unfortunately, I couldn't hold it into the close on Friday, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on it again today because we are rejecting the 20. I like TSM. This one was on last night's watch list video. We'll see what the market decides to do. I was kind of hoping for a little bit of an inside day and then a breakout. So yeah, we'll see. XLV doesn't look too bad. Neither does Lilly. Right? This should look a whole lot like Lilly. Home builders I like. XHB I thought had a pretty decent day on Friday. I don't know that I'm buying this thing on the 6th up day in a row, but definitely something to pay attention to. RKLB. Yeah, good but not great here. Maybe a little bit bigger of a push and then a higher low, and then I'll come buy it. EOSE, no. Some of these speculative names just aren't doing all that great at the moment. I'm not looking to, buy this thing. If you bought it on Friday as an undercut and rally, I guess maybe, but yeah, I'm not really buying these things at the moment. BE, not much of a setup either. Just a little sloppy here on the right-hand side. And maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't, but don't ever get FOMO that you're missing something. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, Micron with some continued weakness this morning. Yeah, PL. The thing about PL is you could buy that right off the 50-day and use that as your guide. AbbVie a little sloppy. AbbVie a little sloppy. Lilly a bit better, but if these healthcare stocks continue to work, AbbVie's a great company. Yeah, DAL. The best of the bunch is LUV. Yeah, DAL. Very nice. Very, very nice. Huge day for some of these airlines on Friday. No, a group sector theme, it cannot only be made up of one stock. Not in my experience. I mean, I guess it could in theory, but no. Pete, no. I covered STX. I covered ABGO. I still have Micron. So I had a good enough average to be able to hold. If the market allows me, yeah. If the market allows me to get onto margin, I will. No. HIMS, this thing's already been crushed. Like, why would I want to short HIMS now at $18? It's down like 20% in the overnight session. Dude, don't chase stocks. If you have to ask me if there's any more downside potential, this has nothing to do with technicals. You're asking about my opinion on a stock, and it's dying right now. I don't know if this thing doesn't go to $5, but you're asking the wrong guy. What I know for sure is that this stock has sucked for months, and it has given you ample opportunities to get short if you wanted to. MCHP, yeah, not bad. Just again, a little sloppy here on the right-hand side. Like, I just don't know how to get involved if it's not going to be like a pullback against a rising 50-day or something. A-Lab has earnings coming up soon, and it's just been chopping around here in like this super disgusting base. At some point it probably ends up going. I don't know when, but I'm not touching this right now. I don't own it, and they've got earnings coming up in tomorrow. So patience until earnings. INCY, not bad. This actually looks pretty decent. Maybe an inside day as well, and then an inside day breakout. What entry tactic would you recommend for someone working full time in the office? Well, it depends what time you get to the office, but I think just a nice little flat base breakout is pretty simple. Here's the thing: you can have multiple entry tactics. I personally think that it's the environment where that should dictate your entry tactic. Choppy environment, pullbacks to ascending moving averages. Strong momentum market, high type flags, flat base breakouts. That's probably what you would be well off trading. It has more to do with environment than it does to do with the entry tactic itself. A lot of them. Yeah, Christian Flanders has done well. He's a canceling based trader, and he's consistently near the top, right? Clement's right there too. Yeah, I mean, I will keep an eye on TSM, but I'm not really looking to buy breakouts. Not really looking to buy breakouts at the moment until I see more breakouts working. Buying closer to the ascending moving averages for me. No, Ivan, I can come back the very next day and just buy another stock, right? And then if my stock gives me a secondary setup, I'll add to it. Thoughts on Apple? To be honest with you, it felt like a bit of a hiding place while the market was selling off. And now it's not too far from an all-time high. Best book and resource to learn how to short? Shorting with the O'Neill Disciples by Gil Morales. Datadog? This thing looks like shit. Should you wait to get in after earnings? Where's the momentum to the upside? I wouldn't even be looking to buy this stock. Is it going to bounce? Maybe a little bit with, IGV related names and other cybersecurities, maybe. But should you wait to get in till after earnings? I don't even know if you want a long or short based on your question, but I'm assuming long, and this thing looks disgusting. Is it better to just stay out of this choppy market and wait for clarity? No, because guys, if any of you guys follow me on X and you guys had been reading my tweets, I was hammering the table on ExxonMobil in November. I was calling it the prettiest and the biggest base in the entire market in November. So, if you're just going to stay out of the market for the sake of staying out of the market, but you don't recognize where money is going, well, then that's something you have to work on. But I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want to miss a move like this. I don't care what the market's doing. Right? Again, you call it a choppy market looking at the QQQ. I could agree with that. Looking at software, I agree it doesn't look that good, but money is going to other places. Right? ExxonMobil proves just that, and it's a name that I own. So, again, waiting for clarity, money is going to energies. Waiting for clarity, VLO's at an all-time high. Waiting for clarity, Chevron looks amazing. Like, what exactly more clarity do you need? Right? It's just about recognizing it earlier, or the things you're maybe staring at stocks that have already made massive moves over the last few years. So those names are choppy, right? Or the names that you're watching, you're not doing a good enough job hunting for relative strength. And again, even there are tech stocks, right? Like SanDisk has been going up. Micron's been going up. Corning's been going up. There's no need for clarity here, right? There's no need for clarity. This thing has been on fire. It's just a matter of how the hell do you buy this thing? And by the way, I'm not in Corning. I also have had a hard time figuring out where do I buy this thing. Just when I had it on my radar as a potential flat-based breakout, it gaps up and does this. Then at the very next couple of days, it just pulls right back. So it's like I'm not enjoying this price action. Gapping up before earnings, pulling back and taking out earnings low, like a little choppy, yes, but recognizing the strength and finding the setups, not really the issue. GME looks really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trading GME though. Right? Does it actually look really good? Does it? Does this look really good? I don't think so. Just because Michael Burry likes it doesn't mean this shit looks really good. And it could very well go higher too, for the record. Thoughts on SMCI? It looks terrible. It looks absolutely disgusting. And I don't even need to pull that stock up. I already know what it looks like. Horrible. HWM, yeah, one of the leaders in the aerospace and defense group. One of the leaders. Problem though, Ivan, they've got earnings this Thursday. Boeing's not bad. Maybe a little bit too slow for you, Gavin, but yeah, not bad. What about shorting Lumen? Didn't they gap down on earnings? They're kind of right back. Depends where, right? If this thing started to fail against the 50 and you can get yourself short versus that 50, maybe it's possible. CLS, same deal, short against the 50, maybe. I kind of look at this thing and think to myself, late stage base, but also, it's building out a whole new base, so I don't want to have too much opinions about it. REGN, is that Regeneron? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Regeneron, not bad. Hanging in there. It'll move with the XLV. Can you say something about when you prefer to buy pullbacks after a breakout or a base inside a base? No, I like if I'm buying inside a base, I'm only buying pullbacks because you're not really breaking out if you're buying. You can't buy a breakout within the base. I mean, naturally, that doesn't even like logically make much sense to say it out loud. but I do like buying pullbacks within the base. And that normally is in a like, you'll notice like things will just, you'll be noticing a nice little breakout setup. You'll go to buy it and then it'll fail. And then you'll go to buy another one and it'll fail. And that's kind of the market just telling you to look for pullbacks instead of breakouts. Can I share with you my thought process on adding to winning positions? It seems like whenever I add, you mess up your cost base. Okay, so think about it like this. So when you add to a position, imagine you were adding to it if it had another daily setup that you understood, right? So a higher low, a low cheat, a flat base, a high type flag, a high volume close, an earnings gap up, an undercut and rally, a moving average undercut and rally. So like these are all the ways that I like to get involved in stocks personally. And imagine that you'll buy like a UNR, and then 6 days later it's giving you a higher low setup. So I would add to it and mentally pretend I didn't own the stock from lower. I don't just like randomly at some random spot add to it. I only add to it if it's one, already working, and two, I pretend as if I didn't own it, and I manage my risk on that new buy the same way I would on any new buy. So DAL, yeah, it would have been over Thursday's high. So over 71. Looks about right. I mean, even if you got in just over that level, you'd have been fine too. 71.40s, not a big deal. So what does this look like on a smaller time frame? 5-minute opening range break, probably. Oof, you'd have been buying it right at the open. Yeah, tough. They didn't make it easy. I don't know if it's like more a flight to safety. I mean, the XLP says that it is, and we're like just completely leaving software, but I don't know if that like will, if the software trade has been overdone. I like Alcoa. I think Alcoa looks pretty good. My thoughts on Meta is it looks bad. Yeah, I saw the news on ONDS, but there's no setup there. I saw the news this morning. But what do you really want with this, Gavin? It just looks, kind of like shit still. Yeah, I do think that it's possible SanDisk and Micron go back to their highs at some point, but I am short Micron. So, short Micron. We'll see how this ends up working, but maybe a date with the 50 at some point. Who knows? Is this therapeutics? Yeah, immunity. Nah, I'm going to leave that alone. I leave stocks like this alone. Thoughts on Tesla? It sucks. And I like Tesla. I like Elon. But this price action just sucks. Nothing to do with it here for me. Standard arrow, too thin. This looks like. Oh no, it trades 200 million bucks a day. I don't know. Recent IPO. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. Just let it continue to build out the right-hand side of the chart. I don't understand what you mean, Ivan. You don't know what to document when buying off of an ascending moving average? I'm not sure. You only allow yourself to add by another 5% position only if the first is de-risked. Yeah, or you don't necessarily have to trim. There's no rule that says you have to trim before you add more. A lot of energies that haven't broken out are setting up. Do we even attempt a laggard? It really just depends, how much strength you think this group's going to have. Like AR, for instance, I don't know about AR. I don't know about this one. Like Fang, I don't necessarily hate. Yeah, anything in the oil services group. SLB's fine. I kind of like the way SLB is shaping up here. If we could just go sideways a little bit longer, right, and let the 50 catch up a bit more, I'm all for SLB. I'm all for HAL as well. FCX looks solid. Yeah, I just don't think that this is the cleanest just yet, but yeah, intuitively, copper makes a lot of sense for the data centers. The moving averages I have on, I use a 5-day, 10-day, 20-day, 50-day, 200-day. These are kind of just space fillers with the 100 and the 150, but I don't really trade around them. So, and again, moving averages don't even really matter at all. They're just good to trend follow once you're in a position, but they don't matter at all, right? Technical structure matters before lagging moving averages, and then group strength matters even more before that. Little sloppy here on the most right-hand side of the base. Little sloppy. Keep your eyes on CCJ. Keep your eyes on UEC. I don't hate it. Could be a cup and handle down the road, but I'm not really buying this pullback here. ERO copper. There's an even better one too. It's mineral HMB. Is it HMB? HBM? Yeah. Hudbay Minerals. This one I had on radar down here. I think Hudbay's been acting probably the best of the bunch, to be honest with you. How do I approach a winning trade that's coming up on earnings? Depends how much cushion I have. I'll just normally reduce. A-Lab has earnings, I think, tomorrow, so nothing to do with it. SATS, it's gapping up right now. I kind of like this as a potential higher low right off the 50. Good, but not great, I guess. This thing has also made a massive move. So if it built a longer base, don't be too surprised. Could I share my thoughts on IBIT? Shit, I wish I would have bought some on what day was that? Thursday, into the scary washout, but I didn't. So hindsight's 2020. I can't say that it's bottomed, and I also don't know if we're on the right side of the V. We could have an oversold rally that lasts, a handful more days, but not a lot I can do with it. CNX, yeah, coming up the right-hand side. I just don't have a spot to buy it. Like, if you recognize relative strength, that's good, but now where do you buy it? You see how, like, when this was going sideways here, it started to get really, really tight just by going sideways, right? That's ideal. Here on this right hand, even like up here, see how like this thing went up and then went sideways, right? That's ideal. But this here, it's just a little, like, it's just sloppy. It's just kind of channeling higher. I like it, but I don't love it. Yeah, VNet's interesting. CCJORB today? Nah. I need the right-hand side to just clean up a whole lot more. I like, this is just not clean enough price action, Ivan. I need the right-hand side of the base to be tighter, cleaner, compressed, right? Ready for expansion, right? This isn't it. This isn't where expansion happens from. This is where chop, ensues. I got out of all of my AVGO. I wasn't comfortable holding this thing, as we were closing above the 20 on Friday. So we'll see. I've got an eye on it, so I could possibly short it again. But yeah, I wasn't comfortable holding that or STX MU because my average was better. AMD no good right now. Nothing really to do with AMD. Let it spring back to life. Is this a double bottom or triple bottom base. Who the hell knows? But for now, you're underneath the 50. You've got this gap down on earnings. For me, I just leave it alone. LASR. Yeah, amazing, but where's the setup? Really, really strong trend, but where's the setup here? Nothing for me to do with it. Right? Just because the stock is strong doesn't mean you can buy it. Just remember that. Everybody can find a strong chart. The question is, how do you get in without chopping yourself up? That's the $1 million question if you want to become a millionaire. How do you get yourself in without losing money? How do you get yourself in so that when you know you buy it, there can at least be explosive action away from your entry, right? Stocks go up and then they go sideways. Then they go up, then they go sideways. It's that sideways, that compression that can lead to expansion. Well, LASR is undergoing expansion still. There is no compression. So how the hell do you get involved? That's the $1 million question. The safest way to get involved on something that's just going up is a pullback to an ascending moving average, right? You want to get involved against an ascending moving average? Okay, I'm all for it. Look at how nice and tight this thing gets every time it comes down into an ascending moving average. Look at how tight this day is. There you go. You want to buy it here? Oh, well, you buy it on the 19th of December. You want to buy it right in here? Well, then you buy it on the 8th of January. But you want to buy it up here, just asking to get your ass kicked. My rationale for shorting MU was that, one, it was extended from the 50, and number two, it was the only one that couldn't take out Friday's high, right? So on this day, February 3rd, I recognized, like, this is the only one that couldn't take out Friday's high. So below 407, I was getting short. 414 was my first spot, 407, and then 398. And I've just been sitting in it ever since. Yeah, I really can't. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the desk. So how would I have bought it? I don't know, maybe a 5-minute opening range break. I don't think I would have bought this one, though. Val EP. Oh, VAL. Is this one being bought out, though? I'm not sure. Is this one being bought out by RIG, I think? Is that true? I'm not sure. I thought I saw one of these names getting bought out, so it might not be an EP if it's a buyout. I'm not sure. I've never asked them that personally. I don't think so, but I don't know. I can't say for sure what Christian trades with or Clement. But doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. ASTS, yeah, nothing to do with this thing for me for now. Just let it work, let it clean up, let it get tight, let it pull back to an ascending moving average, let something happen. But this is just, okay, we all see that it's in an uptrend on the 200, but I'm not just going to like haphazardly buy something. Transmedics. Good, but not great. They have earnings coming up here pretty soon, too, if I'm not mistaken. Next month. Plenty of time. Plenty of time to get involved. So it's got a gap up going. Too late for an entry into energy names with the group extended? Yeah, I would kind of wait. Like, I would want to buy more ExxonMobil myself, but just not yet. EOSE, UNR? No, I'm not going to play it like that. Not that name, personally. SCCO? Yeah, not bad. I liked SCCO down here, but I was hoping it would just tighten up a little bit. Never really did. Yeah, SCCO is not bad. Solar names, NXT, ARRY, Enphase. Anything on the short watch today? Yeah, maybe AVGO once again. No, I use 2 trade tracking softwares, TradeZella and TraderView. NVT, yeah, this one was also on the radar. I mean, just hanging in there, right? You get the gap down, you get bought up the entire time. That's not the worst, but we'll see if price can just flatten out a little bit. Am I looking to buy something today? I mean, I've got a watch list of stuff I'm watching. I don't know that. I mean, I'm always looking to buy something if the market and the stocks that I'm personally watching are acting right. So hopefully that answers that. Thoughts on Rambus? Nah, sloppy. Too much volatility here. Too much. I need price to compress, guys. Price to compress. GD's not bad. Is it a little slow though for you? Probably. General Dynamics, 2.3% per day. Yeah, touch slow. I don't know. I think this General Dynamics was obviously pretty good against the 50. Look at how many times this thing held the 50. Pullbacks into ascending moving averages. Your Bible was probably on Thursday or Wednesday. WDC, yeah, I mean, also another very strong one. I don't know that I'm buying this one because you're still extended from the 50. So, yeah, you're still 5.3 times its ATR from the 50. My top 5 groups for the moment, I would say anything in consumer staples, energy, so OIH names, memory stocks, optic stocks like your LITE and your Corning, your CIEN, and I would say, I don't know. I mean, those are 4 group. Transports right now are on fire. Okay, so Rig did buy VAL. Yeah, I thought so. So VAL is not even buyable today. That's not an EP. And so for whoever asked if VAL is an EP, you should know to never buy a stock that's being bought out because it's not going to move. I talked about this. On a roundtable discussion with Lance and Ted, Connor, Alex, and St. Lucci this past weekend. I personally don't invest into other stuff except the markets. So like I don't pull profits to like go buy real estate, right? I only do the thing that I'm really good at, and that's trading. All right, guys, got to get my butt moving. Hopefully you guys all have a really, really nice start to your CLF. Yeah, gap down after earnings. Hopefully you guys have a really nice start to your week, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. As always, thank you for the questions. Any questions, message me on X, or I'll see you guys back in the room. Yanni, I'll check my DMs, brother. I got you. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.